Good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you're at. Today, we're kind of rounding out our chemical reactions unit. You will not have an end of unit test like you normally do. You only had that critical juncture halfway through. So, this lesson actually counts for a little bit more than a normal classwork assignment. It's really, I'm using it as an assessment of whether you understand what occurs in chemical reactions. And also, can we help the people of Westfield figure out how to try and get their water clean? I'll get to that in a minute. What you should have seen in your warm up was this picture of what is not a chemical reaction. We know it's not a chemical reaction because not all of the atoms, the types of atoms on the reactant side, are represented on the product side. We know that atoms don't just disappear. We also know they cannot just be created or destroyed. Again, it's not magic where they can poof, go away or appear out of thin air. Whatever starts in a chemical reaction also has to somehow be in the end product of the chemical reaction, just those atoms rearrange. Now, that being said, go to the next slide here. Dr. Young has emailed me based off of some of the stuff I've been sending her. She said that based on your suggestions, I decided to run some more tests on the water sample that I took from Westfield. As it turns out, you were right. The reaction between the iron pipes and the fertilizers seemed to have produced another substance besides rust. I hadn't noticed it before because it dissolved in the water. But once I removed the substance from the solution, I was able to observe some of its properties. The unknown substance is solid yellow powder at room temperature and it has no odor. Based on these observations, I was able to narrow it down to I was able to narrow down the list of possible substances to those that share all of these properties. I think the substance is either sodium nitrate or potassium chromate. I'd like you to determine which of these substances is the unknown substance in Westfield's water. I am sending along an atomic scale model of each substance for you to use as evidence. Once you've identified the substance, be sure to inform the people of Westfield. So I've included her diagram here. Sodium nitrate is pictured on your left. It's a yellow solid at room temperature. It doesn't have an odor. And potassium chromate is the other thing she thinks it could be. It is a yellow solid also at room temperature, and it is odorless as well. Both of these things are used for different things. Sodium nitrate is actually used for food preservatives, and potassium chromate is used as dyes and textiles. So sometimes that can be in your clothing and articles of clothing. So your job this this section is to kind of figure out how are these substances similar or different, and I will also show you that what they actually look like in person. You don't really need to know this, just if you're curious. Sodium nitrate is pictured there over top of that atomic model, as well as the potassium chromate over that atomic model. So they do look a little different, but they have very similar properties and different atomic structures. So your job is to nail that down for this section and then move on to the next.